What is a rainbow baby? Oftentimes I found that many women don't know this term. They're not really familiar with this term until they're in the sad situation of finding out what it means the hard way after they lose a baby. Today I'll share what a rainbow baby is and a little bit of my own rainbow baby story and the many ups and the downs and the confusing feelings that come with having a rainbow baby. Hi everyone, my name is Cassondra. I'm a mother to 3 beautiful and amazing children, my sunshine baby Lennox, my angel baby Cohen, and my rainbow baby Shiloh. I created and I facilitate a local rainbow baby support group in my area, which has not only been helpful to me personally, but also to many other women who have experienced both tremendous loss and overwhelming joy in their motherhood journey. I started this channel in order to take that support to a new level to reach as many angel and rainbow baby mamas as possible, regardless of location. A rainbow baby is a baby born after the death of another child due to a miscarriage, stillbirth, neonatal death, or childhood death. It's coined the term rainbow baby because having a new child after the death of another is a bittersweet feeling, to put it lightly. A rainbow baby is symbolic of seeing the rainbow after a really bad storm. The darkness is always going to be there from your loss, but a rainbow shining through signifies hope for the future. Are you a rainbow baby mama too? If you are, drop me a comment below. I would love to connect with you. Join my Facebook group linked below. It's a rainbow baby support group and a parenting and pregnancy after loss support group. So now that you know what a rainbow baby is, I want to share a little bit of my own rainbow baby story. Growing up, I always wanted to be a mom. Even before I had kids, I structured my life around someday having my own family. From the people I dated to putting myself through school, my why always came back around to being a mama. Even through college, I only dated guys who I could conceivably see as the father of my children. The sole reason I put myself through college was to create a career and have the financial means to afford having a family in order to give my future children a healthy and stable upbringing. That's always been my only goal. In 2016, I met the love of my life, Tyler. We fell in love quickly and we moved even quicker. In some opinions, it was way too fast. After only a few months of dating, we moved in together, and then a few months later, we consciously decided to have a baby. We had enough money to buy a house, to get married, or have a baby, and we decided to have a baby. That's just, a family has always been in the forefront of our minds. So a few months later, I got pregnant with our first daughter, Lennox, who was born in August of 2017 at home. All of my kids have been born at home. It was just the decision for me and my family, and I loved it. It was perfect. It was everything I would have ever thought in a birth and a labor, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I absolutely loved being pregnant. I loved my birth experience. I loved the postpartum experience and having an itty bitty baby at home to take care of. I felt so at peace. I felt so blissful. Perfect, right? After a couple of months, I decided pretty quickly that I wanted another baby. I grew up really close with my little brother, and I wanted that for my own children as well. And then Tyler and I, we both wanted a really big family with a minimum of 4 kids, at least. I used to joke with people that I wanted a whole litter, like a litter of puppies, 8, 10, doesn't matter, a bunch. I love babies. I just love babies. I don't know. So after Lennox turned 1, I found out I was pregnant again, and I was so happy. And this time I knew it was a boy. I knew it was a boy, and I was so excited. We had one of each, a little boy, a little girl, and, I grew up with a little brother, so having that for Lennox was so exciting for me. I was going to see them do everything my brother and I did growing up. And I was right. Cohen was a boy. He was also born at home on May 13th, 2019, which on that year was the day right after Mother's Day. And I always thought it was going to be the best, running mom joke. Is there any more fitting way to spend Mother's Day than in a 36-hour labor? No, there's not. That's it couldn't be more perfect. My daughter and my husband were there to help welcome him into the world as he was born into the water at exactly 4:15 p.m. Lennox was 21 months old at the time, and I remember she looked down and she says, "Look, baby, nose." And then just a few short weeks later, my sweet little Cohen, he unexpectedly passed away at 25 days old on June 7th, 2019. To say it shattered me is an understatement. His death, I feel like, not only robbed him of a full and happy life, and my daughter of having a sibling, a little brother, it robbed me of so many hopes and dreams and plans that I had for him and for our family. Going through that kind of grief, there were definitely thoughts of suicide by both me and Tyler. We even made the choice to have a family member take our firearm out of the house so that we couldn't use it when the grief would peak. Those who have been through grief and are familiar with the feeling, grief kind of ebbs and it flows. Some days it's so bad that you can't breathe, and other days it can be a dull ache at its best. It was a horrible conundrum of feeling like, if I stay, I'm choosing Lennox over Cohen. But if I go, then I'm choosing Cohen over Lennox. Straddling the world between life and death as a mother was and still is one of the most terrifying and despairing things that I will ever go through. In hindsight, I'm so thankful that we had Lennox here, as our first child. She was our angel through her brother's death. If Cohen was our first child, I don't think Tyler and I would still be alive, let alone together. Losing a child does something to your soul. It's a pain that you can't heal. I think Lennox was too little to fully understand where her brother went, but still I felt so guilty and horrible that she was going to miss out on all of these sibling milestones. The same type of memories that I created with my own brother that I wanted so badly for my own children. And, I guess it was really in this grief that my mind started thinking about, when is the right time to have more babies? Should we have more babies? Can someone recover from something like this? How do you overcome child loss? How do you return to or find some sort of new normal to just wake up and continue living, let alone find happiness? I did a lot of talking with my grief therapist about what a family looks like after such an immense loss. And I remember asking her, how do you know when it's the right time to have another baby or to continue with those family plans that were made before Cohen died? And I remember she said, that is something only you can decide. And the answer is whenever you feel is right for you. She said that sentence with so much force and confidence that I think it was the way that she said it rather than what she said that made me really believe it. I also told my midwife that we were considering having another baby, partly for medical reasons, but partly to hear myself say it out loud and to someone who I knew was a safe person to talk to, who wasn't going to judge or give me an opinion, other than strictly medical and what she, thought my body could or couldn't do. Because the last thing I wanted to do was put my body through something in another pregnancy so soon if she didn't think my body could handle it. Because I was not going to go through the loss of another baby. To my core, I felt that the best way for me to take care of me is to be a mom and to continue to be a mom. Nothing brings me the amount of joy I feel when being with my kids. And when you're this deep into grief, the only way to survive it is to do the things that bring you joy and happiness, and pure joy and happiness. And for me, that's my kids. That's my family. So in deciding all of this, I decided that, okay, if I want more kids, if I want to have another baby, I need to work on healing my physical body, but also my mental state. And there's no motivation in taking care of me until I had concrete plans to carry another baby. And I needed a strong mind and a strong body to do that. I think it's common even without grief for moms to put their children's needs before their own, and I was definitely no exception here. Lennox was taken care of. She was healthy. She was paid attention to. She was supported. But I wasn't, and having plans for a rainbow baby is what saved me. That's what made me look towards the future, take care of myself, figure out what I needed to do and what I needed to not do in order to help myself move forward. When talking about my grief, I always say that Lennox kept me here and Shiloh kept me going. So in terms of my pregnancy, I got pregnant surprisingly quickly with Shiloh, my rainbow baby. And she was so wanted and so loved already. But at the same time, that didn't mean that having a rainbow baby was going to be easy. Because it wasn't. It wasn't easy at all. I found out I was about 3.5 weeks pregnant on August 15th, 2019, which was barely 2 months after the loss of my son. And I was happy for my pregnancy. It was planned. It was wanted. But it was hard. It was hard. I had a pretty standard pregnancy physically. Most things happened when they were expected to, headaches at 5 weeks, nausea at 6 weeks, the fatigue, cravings, the kicking, Braxton Hicks and contractions, so on and so forth. It was the emotional toll that was tough. Expectedly, you expect it to be difficult, especially so soon after the loss of my son. And I knew it was going to be hard. I mentally prepared myself. This is not going to be easy because in a way, I feel like I was robbed of that bliss. With my first 2 pregnancies, I never once considered that I would lose one of my children, ever. It never even crossed my mind until, it happened. I wanted to say here that my rainbow baby was in no way, in absolutely no way, intended to replace my sweet little Cohen. Any mother knows that no matter what, you can never replace one of your children. You can't, ever, no matter what. Each of your children are loved for being them. I love Lennox because she's Lennox. I love Cohen because he's Cohen. And I love Shiloh because she's Shiloh. A mother's love is the only concept that defies basic mathematical principles, right? You have your first baby, they receive 100% of your love, all of it. You feel like that's all you have to give. When you have your second baby, your love doesn't split and each one gets 50-50, right? Each one still gets 100. Your love just exponentially grows. And the only way you'll ever understand that is to experience something like that. So no, having Shiloh absolutely did not replace Cohen, and that was never the intention. Having a rainbow baby is never intended to replace another baby. having another baby after a loss is intended to bring hope. Hope for the future, hope for your life, finding happiness, finding a new type of normal. And with that being said, a rainbow baby pregnancy is hard. It's hard. It's really hard. The guilt is overwhelming. Feeling guilty for my son for being happy about another baby, because how can I ignore the grief of his loss, right? But at the same time, also feeling guilty to my new baby, who I haven't even met yet, for grieving for her big brother when I should be over the moon that she's on the way. But I think it's important to remember that your grief and your joy are never one and the same. They never mix. They intertwine and they go together, but one never takes away from the other. No matter how much grief you have, another baby's never going to take that grief away. No matter how much joy you have, your grief is never going to take any of that joy. So they coincide and they live together, but they will never mix. They will never be the same thing. And then what will people think? What will people say if I have another baby? I had several people tell me to my face before I got pregnant with Shiloh that they didn't want to see me pregnant again. And to this day, I still don't know whether that was because they thought of Tyler and I as terrible parents and we don't deserve to have another baby, or if they were looking out for my best interest and they didn't want to see me get hurt. They were protecting my heart. But either way, neither reason is okay to say to a grieving mother. Friends who I've had for years stopped talking to me, some of my absolute best friends. Months later, or even now almost 2 years after my son's death, I've had a few of them begin speaking to me again and apologize for not being there when Cohen died because, direct quote, they didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to do. So they just avoided me to make themselves comfortable, and then told themselves that it was for my sake. They didn't know what to say. They didn't want to upset me. Because of this, I stayed home. I didn't participate in group events with my extended family or friends. I avoided pregnancy groups. I didn't even announce my rainbow baby pregnancy to my own family until I was 17 weeks pregnant. I didn't take to my social media account until 36 weeks. The thought of more people having negative opinions on my family or of me as a mother was gut-wrenching, and it was isolating. It was extremely isolating. The one group that I found solace in was my infant loss group that I attended almost every month after Cohen died. But once I fell pregnant again, I was told that I could no longer attend because my new pregnancy was now a trigger to other lost mamas. I was a trigger. And therefore, I was literally shunned out of my group. And at the time, I did understand it, because even though I was pregnant, I felt triggered by other pregnant women, if that makes sense, because I just thought about how lucky they are that they have this blissful pregnancy without loss, and they're expecting a baby, their first or their second or their third. And to see them so overwhelmingly happy made me really jealous. So to an extent, I did understand why I wasn't able to go back. But at the same time, what about me? What about me? What about some sort of support for me? And I think the idea behind having a rainbow baby is that many people feel that this new child somehow erases the memory of your angel baby, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. There's happiness and hope with a rainbow baby, but all of the grief and the sadness and the yearning for your angel is still there, and it's always going to be there. And that's something that I don't think everyone fully understands until you personally go through that type of hell and come out on the other side. During my last pregnancy, I felt completely alone. I tried to find support for pregnancy after loss, but nothing like that in my area existed. I met another rainbow baby mama in my area who had just had her baby and was also told to stop attending the same loss group that I was a part of. And the same night that we connected and we were talking about our frustrations and our anxiety and our grief and the lack of support we received, I decided to create a Facebook group specific to rainbow baby support and pregnancy and parenting after loss support. I shared my new group in a local mom group on Facebook and basically said, hey, I'm hurting and I know that I can't be the only mama who needs some help right now. If you've ever lost a child, if you're pregnant after the loss of a child, join my support group. I connected with so many women. My post was getting traction within minutes, within hours. I had friend requests. I had 30 members in this group. Some of these women I reconnected with from the infant loss group that I had been to months prior, who were also expecting a rainbow baby. Some who were planning on having another baby, some who had just lost a baby, and even some who were friends or sisters or mothers of a woman who lost a child, and they wanted to join the group to try to help them, to try to help their loved ones. They didn't know what to say, they didn't know how to act, and they wanted to be a part of this group as a learning experience, to know what to say, or even more importantly, what not to say to a grieving mother. I was absolutely amazed. I was floored at how many women were interested in this group, and what I found interesting and even sad was that they all said the same thing. They all said, I'm so glad you're doing this. I've needed this for a long time. There's no support out there for having a rainbow baby. I'm hoping to do the same thing with this channel, and I hope this video can help some women who are hurting and don't know how or where to begin moving forward. It's really hard. It's really hard. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. There are so many women out there who are facing similar struggles to you. And I just want you to know that you are not the only one going through this, and you do not have to do this alone. There is a whole community here who wants to know your story, who wants to hear you talk about your angel baby. They want to know about your rainbow baby. They want to see you happy. They do. At this point in the video, you understand what a rainbow baby is, a little bit about my own rainbow baby journey and the things that I face, my struggles and my strengths, and how I've overcome some of them, how I'm continuing to struggle with some of them, and how I ultimately found the support that I so desperately needed to move forward and to finding happy again. I'd also love to hear about how you decided to have a rainbow baby. That is not an easy decision at all. What made you find the courage? How did you do it? Who did you talk to? If this video helped you, please give it a like and let me know in the comments. I'd love to connect with you. Join my Facebook group linked below on Rainbow Baby Support. Comment, send me an email. Tell me your story. I'd love to hear about your angel and your rainbow babies. Let's celebrate them together. Be sure to subscribe and get notified for my next video, which is on finding support as a rainbow baby mom. Thanks, guys. Talk soon.